Hello, hello, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to your Sundays at 6. This is Tense Machines Sunday night. This is how we get down and jiggy with it on a Sunday night. I'm going to start things off with a couple tunes. This first one you would know from the album. If you haven't listened to the album, go find us on Spotify. Tense Machine, anything, you'll find us. You might find a funny tens machine, but search a little deeper, you'll find the music. The song's called Freak Like Me. Open up your mouth, bite the hand that feeds you. Let me hear the words. I'll be the one to tease you. It's too late to turn back now. Show me what you're made of. Is this what you're afraid of? Tell me your secrets. Don't stop until you're done. Show me what you're made of. Never meant a freak like me. Freak like me. Open up your eyes. I'll be the one who sees you. Find a line to cross. I'll be the one who needs you. It's too late to turn back now. Show me what you're made of. Is this what you're afraid of? Tell me your secrets. Don't stop until you're done. Show me what you're made of. Now I'm not a freak like me. Freak like me. Show me what you're made of. Is this what you're afraid of? Tell me your secrets. Don't stop until you're done. Show me what you're made of. Not a freak like me. 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 Thank you. So that's Freak Like Me. And again, if you haven't heard that tune on the album, go find us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music, Google Play, all that fun stuff. This next tune is another song from the album. And it's called Take Away the Pain. The joy of capos. Another late night staring at your pictures, all the memories laughing over liquor. Never thought I'd see the day, I'll never see you again. You always took the time to make me feel wanted. Better help me up anytime I'm falling. Never thought I'd see the day, I'll never see you again. I keep trying to heal the wounds, never letting go of you. I'm waiting for the time to take away the pain. I'm waiting for the time to take away the pain. I give anything to have you here. Give anything for one more minute. I'm waiting for the time to take away the pain. Every morning I keep thinking maybe you'd call. Give anything to hear you say anything at all. Never thought I'd see the day, I'll never see you again. Keep trying to heal the wounds, but never letting go of you. I'm waiting for the time to take away the pain. I'm waiting for the time to take away the pain. Give anything to have you here. Give anything for one more minute. I'm waiting for the time to take away the pain. No, I hope no, I hope. Waiting for the time to take away the pain. Waiting for the time to take away the pain. Give anything to have you here. Give anything for one more minute. Waiting for the time to take away the pain. I'm waiting for the time to take away the pain. Waiting for the time. Waiting for the time. Waiting for the time to take away the pain. Thank you guys for tuning in. I think we've got some friends here. I think I see Mike and B in here. they're in here somewhere. There we go. Where are they? Bam. Bam.
One second.
Bam.
Second. I'm trying to.
We kept adding and deleting. That was,
I can't
that was
find
good.
Like, wait, there's people here.
I'm so glad I don't know how to do that.
I wish Brendan didn't know how to do that.
Yeah, me too, kind of. Now that I know it's there, I'm like, how can I
I'm trying to put the
use that?
claps in. There we go. There we go. Put the claps in the chat. Couldn't find the emoji.
Just chasing the clap.
Yep. I got my claps happening. happening claps.
How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the power stays on.
Yeah, sounds like it might go out.
Wait, you guys are having serious power issues there?
It's been really, really windy here.
Well,
so-
we had a massive storm here. It was actually kind of crazy. My dad and I were driving, and the wind had blown. I think it was Home Depot. It blew like a whole big thing down onto the road. Like there was wood all over the place, and so we had missed like driving over most of it. But there was something laying in the street that I think as we drove over it kind of shot up, and my dad's tire got shredded like almost in half.
That's not
It was
good.
crazy.
Wow.
I thought maybe you were gonna say maybe the wood from Home Depot like fell and formed like a ramp, like
No,
a
we
perfect
didn't-
ramp, and you know,
That
Grand
would've
Theft Auto
been
style,
amazing.
just off the ramp.
You got like 3 feet of air on that one.
Totally got air,
Can I
Dad.
try? Oh my gosh, Johnny Mac's on here.
Johnny Mac.
Johnny Mac, how you doing, buddy? Hey, buddy. Good to see you, man. I have to say, he's been posting some pictures of some very tasty looking guitars.
Sometimes.
It's almost
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's almost like when you see people post the pictures of like a really good meal that they're having at some restaurant, and you're like, shucks.
Now, sometimes
But
with Johnny Mac's guitars, I see them like, part of me wants to unfollow you just because you show awesome guitars all the time,
Yeah,
and they're for sale, and it's like, I have a slot left in my guitar rack,
yeah.
I
but I shouldn't. But I
I
shouldn't do
believe
that.
there was a P bass the other day too, and I have a spot for a P bass, so it's dangerous.
Well, and honestly,
I love
there's
seeing that
still-
stuff, but I
there's
don't
a-
wanna see
there's
it.
There's a Les Paul that he's got. It's like a Japanese copy of a Jimmy Page Les Paul, and he still won't sell it. I told him, I was like, the other thing is he's got an original Bernie amp, which
The Bernie.
those that know. Those that don't, I'll tell you about it.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Oh, dude. Do you remember the Filmo sound projectors? Like in school when you had like they'd roll that big projector into the
Yeah, of
into
course.
the thing. And okay, so the speaker that was on that thing, there was a guy in Hamilton. Actually, John, you can probably tell this whole story in like one post. But either way, the guy, I think he was in Hamilton, and he made an amp with this
With those,
with that stuff. And I think it's like an old Jensen speaker and stuff like. But anyways, John has one of the best ones that I've ever heard. My Bernie isn't. Oh, it isn't original. Oh well, heavens to Betsy. Okay, well, paint me pink and call me
Just-
Jonesy.
Just roll with
uh,
it.
But either way, it is honestly one of the coolest sounding amps I've ever played through in my life. And I always told him, I'm like, man, those two things, if you ever sell them, please let me know. John's also a fantastic songwriter, for those that don't know.
I like that. If you're ever selling this, let me know. It's famous last words for many musicians' bank accounts.
Yeah, it really is. I feel like if the musicians' wives could hear them saying, if you're ever selling that, let me know, they'd give like a side glare and be like, don't let him know or you're going to die.
Turner's got a Mike Turner's got it's like a late 60s SG Junior, and it's on my if you're ever selling this, let me know list. So if you're watching,
Yeah.
if you're ever selling that, let me know.
yeah. If Melissa was listening to this and she heard me say, "I have a spot for a P bass," she'd probably turn around. What?
Well, I still have I think it's a 1964. It's a tiny amp and it's called the Paul, but it has like one of those lunchbox handles on it. And John, I ended up getting it off John because Diesel, Jeff Dalziel, he had one, and his, I have to say, sounds better than mine, but mine sounds pretty deadly. And it's just this tiny little like 5 watt. It was back in kind of the days of like Sears and Simpson.
I just saw
I'm
that too.
listening. That's good. But yeah, crazy amp, and John found one for me. Still have that, by the way, John. So
So I was just
now that we've alienated everyone in the chat with our gear talk,
Yeah, we opened the gearbox. That's all I'm thinking about now.
I just
Nice.
open the gearbox.
I just thought it'd be funny.
That's-
Brendan's saying he's got a spot from their base. To see Mel come up with a hacksaw and just cutting one of the slots out of the rack, and he's like, no, you don't.
Now you don't.
Throw it out to the boulevard. Yeah, it's done. You don't anymore.
It's like the next stream that we have. It's weird, guys. I'm looking for a new 7-space rack.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, mine broke.
A
Fell-
piece of
fell
mine
to
is
pieces.
gone.
It's not a 7-space. It's a 6+1.
There's always room for a P base. Because that's all you need. You just need that P base, really.
That's
other
that's
ones are-
actually probably
Man,
the last.
The other
base
ones
you
are just
need.
extra.
Before
Support.
Nice.
starting
Support
starting
bases.
to play with you, I would have said that would be like, your literal rock go-to. But man, you take that Ernie Ball, like the
The Stingray, yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's
that
made-
Stingray.
Same guy, just later on. The Ernie balls are really just like once he sold Fender, it's like a modern upgrade, right?
I feel like you could actually have a college course and get a doctorate in Leo Fender. I just wanted this.
It's getting cold. This is when they crack. This
Yeah,
is
you
cracking season.
gotta keep them human.
If it drops really drastically, it's okay if the temperature keeps going low, like you still have to humidify the double bass, but it's when
Okay.
it drops like 10
I
degrees or 20
swear-
degrees.
I swear, I didn't read it as that. I read it
Not
as
surprised.
I just watered his big, and
His big bass.
his big bass.
Friend's
But-
got a big.
No,
got a
didn't-
pet fish.
I
Well,
read it. I read it.
I went fishing.
I read it as bum. I was like, how did you water your bum?
It's called an
I
enema,
want
Dane.
to know that. Oh wow. Okay, fair enough. I don't want to know anything more about that.
No. I don't know. What were we talking about? Gear still?
Yeah,
we
that
just-
took a
just
little
keep-
bit of. I'm keeping my jokes to
Turn
myself
into
on
bum
that one.
stuff.
Yeah, I know. I just went right to the gutter there, didn't I? Steering it straight to the gutter. But no, there's a big I don't know argument, but there's an argument for the Stingrays as much as I would say like the P bass is the ultimate, because I kind of have my Stingrays, I kind of set them up to sound.
I was
Like
just
it's
gonna
more of
say,
a
like, I
P-bass.
feel like your Stingrays, you can cover the P bass sound.
Some people
On those.
prefer Stingrays because of the way it cuts through, especially
I
with
like
a
how
live
punchy.
band.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like how punchy it is on stage. Even if I don't hear like or feel the bass frequencies, I
Yeah.
can normally hear the top part of your note.
Yeah, because that's the thing with Stingrays. They're not active per se, but they have an active preamp in them. So they're not active like other basses are, but you boost the EQ as opposed to just cutting it, which would be passive. So
Yeah.
right? So that's kind of the distinction. You still should, like on an amp, it kind of is better to set it to the active setting or the dampen setting if you can, but because of that boost, they could blow your amp still. So it is kind of
Okay.
active. But so I think that's why, I mean, for studio though, I think anyone, if you just play a P bass, they'd be like, that's the one. So. But for live, there is something to be said for and I mean, I love the Stingrays, right? But this,
Okay.
It keeps being on. Sorry, with the bass thing. Like that's the one thing I want in my guitar rack.
yeah.
But I keeps like seeing them. Like that's nice. And I see the price on it. I'm like,
You're like, holy
that
moly.
that can wait.
Yeah, that's definitely a waiting kind of thing.
Because I want a 5 for just recording. So
You have a nice.
You have a
like,
really nice vibe.
even the
yeah,
Mexi-
the Carparelli's
Mexican-
nice, but
it's a Mexican P, right?
oh yeah, the P bass. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that too.
that is a beauty. bass,
I mean,
yeah.
you kind of have. You could. I mean, not saying that kids at home that you should do this, but with my Stingray, I just filed the nut out and put the 5-string strings on it, and that's what we use. That's on
But
all the
it's-
tense machine. That's on all the
it's-
tense machine recordings and dead
It's
set
just
recordings.
for recording, having the 5-string for stuff here, and if Steve's watching this, you know who you are. I just put a capo on it if I need to like mess with the tuning
Yeah,
to have the open string. Like
You
the
told me
sacrilegious-
about this. Egad.
Yeah, you can't do that,
No,
but
you
I do that.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of want the 5-string because it'd just be easier for doing something. Because there's a sound of the Stingray that I just don't have out of my 5-string, and I definitely don't have it in my P bass.
Yeah,
So-
it's different. It cuts different for sure. There's something
Yeah, it's
that's
got a growl to it, and it's just
Yeah.
it's the instrument and the hands, but
Well,
it's more the
yeah,
instrument.
definitely, because I swear I've played B's bass before, and it didn't sound like when B plays it.
Yeah,
It made me feel inferior.
no,
I think this is
people-
broken. B's like, no, this is fine. This is fine.
Yeah,
It's-
people will. That's happened before. People pick up my bass and they're like, "It's buzzy. I can't get it." And then I'll pick it up and they're like, "Whoa, what?" And it's like, "Oh, you just have to be used to the big bass."
It's not
hands.
that it feels bad. I like the way that your bass feels, but it's just
it's
I don't make
meaty,
it
though.
sound like you do.
I use really high
Oh,
action.
we got it. John says, "Come over and record guitars anytime." We
Got
can
quite the
use
collection.
anything.
Quite the collection.
John, you just open up a can of I would say a can of worms, but it's like a can of guitar fingers. But oh, where was the one? Somebody said, "Oh, I know that you meant Dane, and Dana just came out, but I don't want to shave my head. I have to say, one of my favorite things,
Not when it's getting cold.
Yeah, it'll be like the wacky shavy headband. And
like,
be like let's-
fresh after fresh after a shower, like my hair's really soft and Jen will like rub my hair, and I pretend that it's all for her, but it's more for me.
or for you.
It feels smooth. Feels so smooth. But I like your idea, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome my turn. He didn't get a notification.
You and my turn. You should just start a podcast.
I feel like I'll end up coming out way on the low side of that podcast.
Like you're listening to another episode of Your Turn featuring Dean Herzl and My Turn.
This is he likes the videes. It's the guy talking.
Oh, it's a
he despises.
zinger after zinger.
Shabam.
Got the
Sick of
lines.
a doody doo.
Like if My Turn is a bot, it's great feat of software engineering.
One, and I feel like every time he pops on, I do feel like I'm speaking with someone that is supernatural. Like it segue.
Did you meet the guys from Supernatural?
I promise you, I did
Who
not
met the
mean
guys
this
from
segue.
Oh, never mind.
But who met the guys from Super? Oh, never mind. He'll be back in 20 minutes. I guess this one's not for my turn. But that being said, I'm looking all the time for a massive segue, and if we've met the devil,
Did you find it?
I found a segue. Hey, everybody. Guess what's going to happen now? I'm going to play a cover tune. This is one of my favorite songs. I think I've played it on here before. But it's one of my mom's favorite covers that I do. So, My Turn wants us to play Freeze until he
Okay,
gets back.
everyone. Ready, set, go.
Good.
So with no further ado, a little Black Crows for y'all.
I'll see myself out.
Never mentions the word addiction in certain company. Yeah, she'll tell you she's an orphan after you meet her family. She talks to angels pull some shades down tight. Well, cry when the pain comes. A pain gonna make everything alright. Alright, yeah. She talks to angels. They call her out by her name. Oh yeah, she talks to angels. They call her out by her name. And I'll say, there's a long affair in her pocket. Got that cross around her neck. Stares from a little boy, yeah. The cross is someone she has not met. Not yet, oh yeah. She talks to angels. They call her out by her name. Oh yeah, she talks to angels. They call her out by her name. And I say, oh no, no, she don't know no love song. None that I ever see. But to her that is nothing but to me it means everything. Paints her eyes as black as now. With his curtains down tight. He's got a smile when the pain counts. Pain gonna make everything alright. She talks to angels. They call her out by her name. Oh yeah, she talks to angels. They call her out by her name. Ah, she talks to angels. They call her out by her name. Thank you very much. So, yeah, a little bit of Black Crows.
Try to time the
sounds
claps.
really. I feel like for anyone that's listening and not watching, that sounds really dirty. Yeah,
That
what-
sounds
that's
worse. I
actually
think.
worse.
Yeah, I think that sounds worse.
I feel
It
like
just sounds like someone running along a beach in sandals.
from now on. The other thing is my
Sound like to me.
guitar. My guitar, when I move it on my lap, just oh, it's not doing it now.
No, I got not hearing it.
It sounded like a toot.
Melody, the scarf is holding up. I didn't forget about you. It's holding up very well.
Oh. Melody makes some good scarves.
Yep. It's very warm.
So my $1 million idea for the day, we could have a show called like a podcast show called like Does This Sound Like a Fart? And it's just people like when they do things, and you're like, does that sound like a fart? Because everyone like not everyone, but like a lot of people think, of course it's not going to happen, but my chair in my office, it sounds like a cat, very often.
Okay.
People always think it's the cat.
The one thing that I did realize, I don't know if there's many people on here that
It's not doing it now.
Trying to make it happen.
Everything
It's not,
that
of
we're
course,
trying to
that's the way
make
the world
fart
works.
isn't
Everybody's
farting.
like,
So
this always happens. And it doesn't happen.
it's like when you bring your car into the garage and you're like, okay, so it's making this sound when you do this, and then you try
And
and
it
get it to
doesn't
do
do
the
it.
sound. It's like your car's sitting there with just a sheepish little
It's not going to do it.
grin on its face. It's like,
Not
no,
gonna do
I'm
it.
gonna make you look like an idiot.
Oh,
but,
Dane, that was fun. I was jamming along with you silently over backstage in the
Oh,
stream there.
thanks.
I was very tempted. I'm like, oh, it sounds so good to come in.
We keep talking about seeing how much of a misaligned train wreck
It'd just be terrible.
It would be.
I
it
was
would
very
be-
tempted just to come in. I was like, what if I just come in? A lot of that song was just an E, so it's going to be right at some point. No, it's going to be terrible.
The funny
idea.
part would be if we arranged it the right way and made it so that like the drums were first and then we all played to the drums.
I thought
We'd
about this
sound-
too.
We'd
Try
sound
to
like,
compensate
we'd sound
to
like
it.
a really like hip reggae band. We'd all be playing so behind. It would be like, wow, like these guys must have been actually born in Jamaica.
It's like you guys went from like a rock band into this kind of harder reggae thing. It's like what? Oh, it's a delay compensation. We couldn't figure it out.
It's like prog reggae.
It'd be amazing if
Progatron.
if COVID actually inspired like a complete new. It's almost like a Jay Dilla thing, where like the snare comes in late.
yeah. No, we'll
Based
just
on latency.
we'll figure out who is ahead in the stream, and be like, okay, so we'll just know what order to be in, and then that's how we figure out the delay for everybody. And yeah, I got the pretty heavy reggae band.
They
so.
do it for live arena shows. Like they figure out the delay and compensate for it.
For live arena shows.
Like when they're doing a live arena show, the stage the
speakers are delayed.
They'll
Yeah,
time
yeah.
the speakers.
will be delayed at the back of the arena.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it'd be a big goopy mess going on.
It'd be some goopy goopster. Mm-hmm.
Like I was just playing along, Mike, you were snapping, and I was doing something to me that sounded on time with it, right?
Can you guys keep time? I know you sort of can.
Sounds on time to me.
Yeah, like again, I'm still curious to try it.
I want to watch it later.
As soon as you hear me, you'll start being like, okay, I got to play back a little bit because he's behind me, and then you'll fall behind, and then I'll start
It's
playing
like
behind.
you guys
that.
went from like a rock band to like a reggae thing, but then you became like a sludge doom project because you just kept getting slower and slower, and you're like, let's just put more distortion on it, and we'll just keep compensating.
Honestly, that is something that I will do in a studio. It's like, yeah, I don't know, it's not feeling right, and I'll just turn the gain up.
I got a very
actually,
short
yeah,
story.
that's great.
Very short story about doom metal and stuff. At my old studio, the downstairs was a bar called Graffiti's, and on Sundays they had black metal brunch. So the front of Graffiti's was like a garage door that would open, and they would have bands playing there often. But black metal brunch, they would have black metal brunch. They would have metal bands and pretty heavy metal bands. But I remember one time they had like this doom metal band, and it's just like really slow, very heavy, very drop tuning. And it would start at noon, and it was like on the dot. It was like the building just started shaking, and I was like, "This is awesome." So I went downstairs and looked at it. I'm like, "This is fantastic for Sunday at like 12:01." So
Yeah, we used to. We lived. Matt and I lived in, and Doug too lived in the rehearsal space at Lakeshore in Islington in the old
That's a
indoor
fun
mall.
one.
It was a glorious time. But we lived
What
in our jam
floor were you
space,
guys on?
the top floor,
Okay.
in various rooms, 3 or 4 rooms during that time. Anyways, that there would be, I don't know, it was kind of anywhere you were in that building, but yeah, for sure, it'd be like Saturday, Sunday at like 9 a.m. And for sure below you, it just like a blast beat would just start. And it's like, oh, the drummer probably showed up early so he could practice blast beats for 2 hours, and then all the guys show up, and then it's a blast beat with, just, but it'd be like right below your head too. So by 11 a.m. you'd be laying there and like, great.
I remember
Great.
at Dane, your rehearsal space at Geary.
Oh my gosh,
I
that
remember
one was fun.
because like the back one. There's more stories about that place, but I remember like going in for one of the rehearsals before you fired me, and like the drummer that was in one of the
knew
rooms
that was coming.
was just blasting double kick and this like weird snare pattern, and it was like nonstop. And I'm like, that's pretty good. Like if I played like that, I would quit practicing because you're good.
One
and
he
I
didn't stop.
and I remember leaving and you're still doing it,
going,
and I'm
still
like,
going.
wow, that's dedicated. That is woodshedding right there.
See,
So
I started to think because that went on for years. Like we were in that space. I would say we were in that space for probably 3 or 4 years.
one of us was.
Well, actually, you were in there twice.
That's true. I was.
So,
And I actually rented that space before you guys got a hold of it.
oh really?
I was trying to figure out a way to make it work because I was going to move in there, like live there. And
It was a good
Sure.
space, and
It's
it
pretty
was
good.
funny. It was funny when Tori was living there, because like every time I would come in, it smelled like onions. Because he loved pierogies, and so he would cook pierogies with onions. And every time I came in, I'd be like, I come to rehearsal now. I'm hungry. Damn it, Tori. But yeah, no, that space was awesome.
it was pretty good space.
Nope, that's the end of that story.
And progress.
And pierogies. But yeah, that was definitely a fun one. Well, and I swear that guy was there the entire time. And there was one time it was
Where
my
was that, Dane?
birthday. It was Geary Street, and it was, I guess, east of the rehearsal space.
Yeah, it was the monthly rooms, but yeah, it was like the biggest live-in space
It
sort
was
of thing.
definitely the coveted one.
I think I was there once in one of those places.
And it was funny because at one point Tori and his buddy were living there, and his buddy was living in kind of like the thing above
The loft in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't know he was there, and I went into the kitchen and I was sitting there just like cracking a beverage and inhaling things, and wait,
Air.
no, I have to specify I wasn't doing bad inhalings, but
Inhaling pierogies.
no,
That's usually
Just
what
plate
happens.
after plate of pierogi.
I was just
Couldn't even
eating-
walk.
I was inhaling onion fumes, but no, that was definitely one of the coolest rehearsal spaces that I've ever seen. But yeah, no. Anyways, point being, dude woke up because it was like 11:30 or 12 in the morning because you couldn't make noise there
Until noon.
Till noon.
And
Unless you're a metal drummer playing a blast beat, that's okay.
and then nobody wants to even encroach on your space. But yeah, it was funny. Dude poked his head out over like the loft bed, and I didn't know he was living there. I looked up and kind of like screamed, and I'm not saying I did, but I might have peed just a little,
A little bit of tinkle.
like a
Little squirt.
tiny little dribble.
Because there's the kitchen. Like
Yeah.
the loft space where the bed was in the kitchen. Like it was a good sized kitchen enough to.
Well, and
put the loft space there.
I'll give those guys one thing.
The bathroom was
or
under
not
it, I
one
think.
thing, but like multiple things. One, they put up with a lot of noise, but the fact that like I would leave cases of beer in the fridge, they never touched my beer, and I don't want to seem like this guy, but I counted. Never touched my beer. So to Tori and I think it was Jake that was living up in the thing. To Tori and Jake, if you're watching this at
Classic
any point,
Jake.
classic Jake. What's the craziest rehearsal space thing that you've? Because like I've heard good stories about that one. Mike, what's the craziest rehearsal space that you've been a part of?
Craziest rehearsal space, because I know this is one of those things I can answer quickly. Polson Street, where the docks is in Toronto, there's rehearsal spaces underneath the docks there, and it's super sketchy. Remember when we first got there? Yeah, it's like,
Are they still there?
they're still, as far as I know, they're still there. I don't want to say sketch in a bad way, but it's basically when you go down there, it's like if someone kidnapped you and you were able to watch the whole thing go down as they're dragging you somewhere before you wake up. That's what going to Polson Street rehearsal spaces feel like. And because it's this basement, concrete, it's just, if the world ends, you wouldn't even know it. And band I was playing at that time, because I think so I first pretty much moved to Toronto after I quit bands the first time. And I would go there and rehearse because that was something to do, and I had no money in Toronto, so I'd ride my bike over to Polson and I'd go and practice. And also it sucked at drums, and the producer was like, "We're gonna fire you if you don't get better." It wasn't Dane though. But anyway, so I remember being underground there, and and you're practicing, and the power went out, and because of my rig and everything, when the power went out, my rig shut down. And it's your
rig
pitch
shutting down rehearsal, and
rig
you're
shuts
wondering why you get fired.
Well, the thing, no, that's not my fault. But and I was there practicing by myself. But
famous words for a fired.
But I'm there by myself. It's late at night. It's you're the only one there, kind of doing stuff. It's concrete everything, so you don't hear. So when the power shut off, I thought for a second, did I die? Because because it's pitch black and everything just kind of stopped.
So you're being for serious honest. You had that split moment.
That moment, I'm did something just happen? Because I
catastrophic
never
event.
felt comfortable in that rehearsal space because there's no real air circulation. There's no real sound outside of your bunkery room.
Yeah.
And it's low ceilings, and I never felt comfortable there. So when that time the power did go out, I thought did I just die? And I can still kind of play drums, so it's not that bad, but I can't see anything, and I don't. And this is back to when you had those little cell phones that you can't really get to the light unless you can see it because it's not the screen's not backlit very well.
Like one of those indestructible Nokia things.
Yeah, little I can't
Razr.
remember the little soapbox phone or chocolate phones, whatever they call it. Where they're just they are indestructible, but it took me a while to figure out how to get out of there, sort of thing. And I'm just that's my rehearsal space story. So, but yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting times. I was there pretty much every night. So
I'm trying to think of what rehearsal space I could be in that I would actually if the lights went out, I would question my life.
There was one.
Front Street, and Sherbourne?
Front Street and Sherbourne. Yeah, that was a good one too.
That's a good one. That was a good. The one that we had though, the first room that we had in rehearsal space, and I lived there with Matt. It didn't have windows on the walls. It just had two skylights. So it was you were sealed in this thing, and it was the world could end and you wouldn't know. As long as you could just still see the sky, you're the sky's still there. So
well, and the good thing about a skylight, could you open it?
Yes, with a very sort of
really tall
really tall stick you had to get up and hook on this thing and then turn it. So
that
it wasn't
that was exactly that space that we were talking about before. It had
Oh, really?
windows. Yeah.
yeah. That's so I lived in that thing and there was just this one Sunday, and we played a gig, and of course our place was the jam space. So it's the gear's all just piled up in the center of the room. It's all disarray. Matt and I are all tired, and I don't know. He was making hard boiled eggs or something like that. So he had the burner on the stove going. He's boiling water, and then beside it he had a plate with margarine and bread and stuff like that. And the cabinets, the kitchen cabinets that were on the wall, just randomly, nothing happened. They just fell off the wall. and landed right on the oven, and it hit.
Started a fire.
It started a fire. Hit the well, it didn't start a fire, but it very well could have. And it hit with another one of the
margarine.
burners on and mashed the margarine, like the plastic container and everything into it. And it just started to like immediately like it was gonna catch on fire. So we
wasn't
just
good.
turned it all off. We called the landlord guy. He came in. We're like, he just looked. It was just like cheap drywall clips in the back, and they just fell off eventually. So we just kind of looked at each other like, let's get the hell out of here. And we just drove back to our parents. Went back to
Did he have the
Peterborough.
eggs still though? The eggs okay?
No, it all mashed in and just made a mess and
Waste of eggs.
burned all the margarine up on the burner. It was a mess. It was good though. It was like one of those days where it was interesting. And of course there's no windows on the walls, so we're like, where does any smoke go or anything from the
Yeah.
burning plastic?
Yep, it's all downhill. Oh, that was a thing too with Polson, because like some people would smoke in their rehearsal spaces, and then just like there's no ventilation there.
Oh yeah.
It was just so
was-
yeah.
I'm not
Everyone
gonna-
smoked in that place too.
I'm not going to mention the name of the artist, but when I used to work out of the EMI writing space on Spadina,
Spadina.
yeah, it was hilarious because there was one artist that smoked so much weed, and in that the way that building or that office was set up, it was like a studio, but it was in like a commercial
Office
type
space?
office space. So
'Cause EMI
there
Publishing was there?
Yeah, but it wasn't EMI Publishing that was upset about it. It was the fact that every other office on that floor and the floor above it, in the morning after this, and I'm not going to say if it was guy or girl, but after this artist was done, the next day, everything smelled like weed. So like
I was gonna
that-
say smell like Otto's jacket.
yeah, that entire floor and the entire floor above just smelled, and so they got like nasty letters. EMI spent $20,000 to create a chimney that basically went all the way from the EMI publishing room all the way up to the roof. And so when we went in there the one day, they had finished it, and the guy that was running it was like, "All right, I'm just gonna tell you this now. If you guys are gonna fire up anything, hit this switch." And he told us the story, and I was like, "Hold on a minute. You created like an industrial fan to suck out the air from this entire."
Probably cheaper than all the steam cleaning they would have had to keep doing.
I was gonna joke. There was people in like music. There's no money for anything. There's no money for this. No money for that. There's no money for musicians. And they're just like, oh, we need to put it in a giant chimney.
Oh, do you need a chronic chimney? No problem.
It's like, yeah, you know what? We don't have the money for that.
Dane,
that
was this
tour
the
run.
EMI that was like on King and Spadina, pretty much?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it
like
was really close to there. It was
like they had the
basically-
room, the so-called room full of stuff. Okay, so we used to record a lot of early MDD stuff there.
Yeah,
with
Casey
Casey
and
or
them,
whatever.
yeah.
So one day I was gonna say I went into that studio and we walk in and it just reeks like pot. And then we go to take water from the water cooler and we couldn't because someone came in there and they had been filling it up with milk.
Oh man.
So it was a little nasty, and they're like, "Yeah, you can't use that." So I remember we had to go buy water because someone filled up the.
Actually,
and then we would go sit in the weed studio
one of the coolest
It's
because
a chronic
that
chimney.
shag. There's like shag carpet.
Oh, yeah.
all in there, right? So
and
you-
they had a really nice like electric drum kit. So I would go in there.
the V drums, the,
and
like the
just
$10,000
beat away
kit.
on those things for a while. But no, one of the funniest days was I had gotten a call from a writer I was working with. It was Casey, and he asked me, he's like, "All right, man, we're going to the studio. You secure? Meaning like, do you have like a 6-pack or something?" And I was like, I don't like I didn't really drink at the time. I'm like, I don't have anything. And then I remembered when I was doing the Canadian Idol show, we were playing like the season finale, and it was us, Avril Lavigne, and John Bon Jovi. And so Gibson gave me a bunch of guitars, and they were like, "Okay, if you get this one signed, we'll give you that one." And so I took
Typical
this
Gibson.
guitar and I sat outside his trailer for like an hour and a half, just kind of like standing there with this guitar, looking like a silly goose. But anyways, somebody from production came out and they were like, "Yeah, so we have to clear the area. The guys are just coming back to their trailer, so you got to get out of here." I was like, "I've been sitting here for like an hour and a half. I'm with Canadian Idol. I just wanted to get this guitar signed." They're like, "Yeah, no, you got to go." And so when I kind of walked towards my trailer, and then I walked back, and when they were gone, I walked onto Bon Jovi's trailer, and they had a bottle of Jack, and so I took the bottle of Jack, and I was like, "There's my souvenir. I don't get a guitar, but I got John Bon Jovi's Jack," which was probably Richie's.
In
favorite.
alternate universe, you would have just signed it yourself and be like, it actually just says like Bon Jovi. On it.
That's not a terrible idea.
Or Mr. Bon Jovi.
Hindsight being 20 McTwenty-ish.
Mr. Jovi.
Anyways, long story short, I brought that bottle of Jack to the studio, and it was gone really quickly. But
Up the chimney?
That was. It didn't go up the chimney. No, it went,
No.
It went down.
Sorry,
it
Chronic
went
Chimney. I'm still
down-
laughing at Chronic Chimney. I
Down a
think that's pretty
different
funny.
chimney. But that being said, I feel
So
like
again-
I feel like I should maybe play a couple tunes and say goodnight to every beautiful person here.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other? How did you both do it the right way? Oh, I did too.
It's the rhythm section. We have timing.
That was really good. All right.
That was,
well,
that was the internet.
I'm gonna get out of this with a little song from the album.
Sounds good.
For those watching, thank you guys so much for
Thanks for
being
stopping
a part
by, everyone.
and hanging with us, and definitely go find us on Spotify, YouTube, all those fun spots. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. Yes, it is. Shabam. Anywho, I'm going to play a couple tunes and take you guys out. Thanks so much, everybody.
See you, everyone.
Please shield me from the madness that I see. Depression's got the people on their knees. I'm praying for forgiveness. Release me, please. You're not killing any part of me. You're not taking me down. You're not killing any part of me. 'Cause the harder you push, just feeds the fire that is taking you down. Taking you down, yeah. Awake, staring out the window. Come on, take a million pieces of me. I won't break. Suffer here in silence. Release me, please. You're not killing any part of me. You're not taking me down. You're not killing any part of me. 'Cause the harder you push, just feeds the fire that is taking you down. me down. You're not killing any part of me. 'Cause the harder you push, beats the fire, the fire. You're not killing any part of me. You're not taking me down. You're not killing any part of me. 'Cause the harder you push, beats the fire that is taking you down. It's taking you down. Fire that is taking you down. Taking you down. The fire that is taking you down. Yeah. Thank you. Take the weight of the world like an empty bag that's hanging from your shoulder. Crowded streets, empty trains, meet 1,000 friends and never know your name. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but still don't have to change. Still don't have to change. You'll never walk away. Still don't have to change. Still don't have to change. Stranger's bed, some tonight. Slip away at dawn to chase another flight. Private jets, or chasing stars. All these question marks, but you know who you are. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but still don't have to change. Yeah. Still don't have to change. Never walk away. Still don't have to change. 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 I never walk away. Still don't have to change. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Definitely don't miss our Wednesday night groove and our Friday morning chat. Thank you guys very much. Find you guys later. Shippy.